Rip Patriot. Rip Patriot, you fought well, man. You fought well. What an unfortunate episode. Episode 20 of Arknights Rise from Ember. I knew this guy was going to die and die fighting. I knew this guy was going to die fighting tooth and nail all the way to the end. And yes, I assumed he was going to die on his feet. This is a character, he has to die on his feet, just for symbolic reason. The immovable wall, the one that Doctor says that he has to climb over. This is something that is not going to die on his face, on the ground. He's not going to be laying down on the ground. This is a guy that's going to be on his feet the entire way to the bitter end, reaching down to his final target. His final target, which, yes, as they put in this episode, is the Lord of Fiends. I called it wrong, and I should have known it was Amiya, because that was a lot of kind of symbolisms they were giving to his character in the previous seasons, that she is some sort of bringer of death and whatnot. I guess it was just more the fact that at the time we were talking about Rosmantis, so I'm like, maybe it's that character, because suddenly they're bringing her along and they're talking about how powerful she is. We've established before that Amiya is incredibly powerful. She's the poster girl. She's the free unit you get from the very beginning. She's super strong when she has to be in the story. She was pretty... I used her a lot in the game, let's be honest. But yeah, I should have had the assumption that Amiya was going to be the Lord of Fiends. I just wasn't sure what the actual title was going to represent. With this, they're kind of putting her as being the successor. There's this girl that has to rise up. She has this prophecy about her that's seemingly very bad. The cute donkey girl apparently is going to kill millions of people. Why are you going to have my donkey girl kill millions of people? What the hell is going on here? Bunny Girl, I know it's Bunny Girl, by the way. It's a joke. I think that's actually supposedly an inside joke for the community, which I wasn't aware of until after I said it last time I did. Anyways, really good episode, really cool stuff around Patriot, really getting into sort of his life and everything that he's gone through. I think from the very beginning, interesting to kind of establish that, of course, it seems like Kaltsit has known him for a long time. It does get to the fact that he apparently used to be on the side of Teresa, which I don't think they established before. They went to the fact that he's pretty much betrayed his king multiple times, and apparently this is the third time, with him choosing Amiya and choosing to have Amiya be sort of the person that will take on the future. He's going to pass that baton upon her. He's entrusting the future with her. But yeah, Kaltsit says that he betrayed his liege twice before then, turned his back on Teresa for the Emperor of Ursus. So right there it's saying that yes, he used to side with Teresa, and I'm assuming that's the point which Kaltsit had known him. Because apparently they've known each other for a long time, because he's like, you haven't changed at all. So it implies the idea that I would assume, at least 50 years they've known each other, if he's, pointing out the fact that she hasn't looked any different. Which, yes, I do kind of see that in the fact that back there, when they show those flashbacks with W, with Teresa, yeah, Kaltsit didn't look that much different. But the Doctor didn't look that different either, let's be honest. The Doctor didn't look that different either. But we don't really get a sense of what the Doctor actually looks like. Under the mask, he could look like all wrinkly or whatever. But a lot of time has passed since then. Not really a lot of time, but I would assume that probably at least another 10 years before the whole backstory we got with W's, he was apart with Teresa. But yes, it does imply that he did betray Teresa, and then he ended up standing up against Ursus and sided with Talala. So I kind of assume what happened here was that he used to side with Teresa, and then at some point he joined Ursus because he wanted to stop the war and the bloodshed. I would think that probably about the time that he was with Ursus, he found love. And then after he found love, he had a child, and at some point his child was trying to tell him, hey, Dad, Ursus ain't good. They're turning their backs on the infected. Don't believe the lies they're telling you. But then at some point, it seems like his son died. Or maybe possibly just got captured. It looks like he is down on the ground with his face on the ground, and it seems like there's some sort of indication that something happened to him. And I'm wondering if that possibly has something to do with reunion, or possibly with just the infected. Did his son get infected? Is there an aspect there where it had something to do with the infected? Maybe his son was trying to help the infected. Maybe he was an early Rhodes Island. Maybe he was a reunion. Don't know. But he seems to have something happen to him, and it seems like he was being reprimanded and pushed to the ground. And I'm thinking at that point, he probably joined Tala, because it said that he made a massive mistake. So I'm guessing either, again, he possibly turned his own son in. His son was a part of the reunion. Something caused a turning point for him. He turned his back on Ursus, and then he sided with Tala. And with him joining Tala, that connects it to the idea of at least the infected. But anyways, he joins Tala, and that's the point in which he meets Frost Nova. And so he's got all these choices that he's made in his life that seemingly were to avoid bloodshed, and again, turn his back upon the infected, and then at some point turn his back upon Ursus. And no matter what it kind of builds into is him putting his trust upon something, making a mistake, putting his trust upon something, feeling that it's the perfect choice, and then at some point realizing, as we're getting to at the very beginning here, he knows that Talala turned on them. He knows that Talala has betrayed them, but he's still going forward. Because it's the choice I made. It's the choice I made. My people are following me into this choice that I made. Everybody's backing Talala. We've all put our trust in her. A bunch of people put their trust in me that has put his trust in her. And I can't stop going forward because there's a bunch of bodies behind me. All these bodies behind me, I can't let them die in vain. I have to carry onward, even if I made this decision. But additionally, I can't tell these people that we need to go a different path because she's lost her mind. And they've kind of gotten to this before, this idea that there is this element of hiding the fact that Talala's gone crazy. Again, right here, and I think they've talked about it before, we can't reveal to the people, the reunion, that she's mad because she's the only thing keeping them sane. These people are off their rockers. They're going crazy. But the only thing keeping them stable is Talala. And I can't tell them that she's crazy too. I can't tell them that Talala's cray-cray up there with her split personalities she got going on up there. It's an interesting dynamic. And again, it's really tragic to Patriot's character because, again, he seems like a big teddy bear. Seems like a big, massive teddy bear. And it's interesting to have this initial interaction because it does seem like he trusts Kal'tsit. Again, it seems like he did trust Teresa, but he betrayed Teresa. And I think he probably regrets that. And here, in front of him is Kal'tsit. It doesn't seem like he recognizes Doctor, which that makes me think that Doctor wasn't around when he was a part of that group. He trusts only Kal'tsit. I know you. I trust you. Because Her Highness trusted you. That was an interesting thing there. He's basically still calling her Her Highness, despite betraying her. Kal'tsit's like, well, you're still calling her Your Highness? A king is still a king. Interesting. He still has his honor there. He still honors her despite the fact that he betrayed her. But again, he's trusting Kal'tsit. And even at the end, I like the whole rights thing. He's still trusting Kal'tsit, but he can't trust the rest of them because they have the blood of my daughter on them. And it sucks, this whole struggle here, because it's, again, from our perspective, what we've seen what happened with her, that was her choice. That was something that she wanted to do. And again, in the end, she became a part of Rhodes Island. And it sucks that even though she became a part of Rhodes Island, she's literally a comrade of theirs, he doesn't see that. He can't see that. And he can't really accept that. All he knows, they killed her. She put her trust in you. She foolishly trusted you, and you killed her. You took her life, despite that. It sucks. And again, Amya's perspective, Doctor's perspective, she's trusted us with her will. Yeah, that's when he admits that he knows about Talala, can't tell his men that she's gone mad. And we get a lot of emphasis here on the fact that he hates fate. They're talking about, well, why are you doing this anyways? Is it for vengeance or whatever? He says, no, I just loathe fate. I hate this. And it sort of implies the idea that he may have seen some sort of prophecy to this. It does imply later on that he doesn't do prophecies. Despite the fact that he has the capability of doing it, he never does it because, as we're seeing here, he hates fate. And I wonder if there's sort of a side of that he hates doing prophecies specifically because a prophecy foretold the death of his wife. That he's seen something that he didn't want to see. It showed him the death of his wife. It showed him the death of Frostnova. It showed him the death of his son. It showed him something he didn't like, and thus he's never liked it. He's never liked fate ever since then. He hates that aspect, and thus right here, even when they're talking about, staying aside or stopping, he keeps saying, no, I loathe fate. And I wonder if there's an element that he may have seen at some point this moment was going to happen. His death was going to happen this way, and he's trying to fight against it in some way, just to prove that it doesn't exist. But anyways, yeah, that starts the fight. That starts the fight. They're going up against each other. Pretty cool little fight segments. Love the shots of Rosmontis especially. Monster. Get Monster in there. Kal'tsit sending off Monster. The CGI was okay. There's a few points that were kind of a little rough. I think more just his minions were kind of a little bit too underdone. It was a little bit too underdone, but I think overall the CGI was well done. But some really cool shots in there. At some point, going crazy to go after Anya directly, shooting that massive spear, her having to fire back, and sending Monster on the side to kind of deflect it off the side. Really cool little shots in there. I really did like it. But yeah, that's when it gets into regrets. I think at some point he makes a comment to Rosmontis about the fact that she was a very strong feline girl. But it questions what her regret is and tells her that she needs to carry it. Somebody has to carry it. And again, I think that's going to probably tie into what they dived into a little bit in the previous episode, and the idea that there seems to be something with her family. That something happened to her family. Again, she had this thing implanted into her brain. It's causing her to forget things. And I'm wondering if it possibly feeds into her family, the regret, or does it feed into the regrets of forgetting people? Because again, that's something that she, right now especially, struggles with a lot. But anyways, that digs into his own regrets, seemingly implying that a lot of these regrets are what sort of pushes him forward. Getting the idea again that he's, lost his wife. She mentioned something about the fact that even a woman that has no concept of love could return his love. I'm not sure what they're implying there. Is it some girl that has some sort of problem, a disease, or just some sort of race that has a problem with love? But anyways, carrying on because they produced a child, getting the fact that his son was trying to stop him, saying, hey, Dad, these people are lying to you. You got to stop this. But then, getting into the idea that he made a mistake. He can't walk the right path. And then, all this seemingly is being seen by Anya. She's seeing all this regret, seeing everything that this guy is carrying by himself, all this stuff that he's doing, ultimately until the point that he does end up meeting Frostnova. And it seems like, again, he brought Frostnova in as his own daughter and was unable to do anything for her. In the end, she died in the end. He couldn't protect her. And I do think that sort of does probably more cement in my mind that his son is dead, that he lost his wife, wasn't able to do much for her, lost his son, wasn't able to do anything for him. All these mistakes that become a turning point in his life, all the way to the point where even Frostnova, this child that he brought in, this daughter, he wasn't able to protect her. Which, yes, leads to Anya to want to end his suffering. Goes up there, you're already finished, you're already done. One more shot to finish him off before he hands over the key and asks Calcit to bear witness. He says that you're qualified to stand against my ancestors as sort of a last rites, bear witness to his death or whatever. It's kind of interesting. But here's where things get crazy. Here's where we get things crazy. This is where we get the reveal that Anya is the Lord of Fiends. That, yes, apparently Anya gave him a little last comforting vision. A vision of everybody surrounding him. Like the usual trope, the person's dying and they see the pearly white gates and all the family members hug them and embrace them just to make you all smile as they die in agony. But no, he snaps out of it. What's this? Who's showing me these hallucinations? It seems like Calcit knew immediately. Calcit knows what this Lord of Fiends is. It seemed to imply that when the girl brought it up to her, that she knows who Anya was, says you're not supposed to bring that up anymore. They know who the Lord of Fiends is and that it's Anya. But it does seem to be that she knows that the Lord of Fiends can cause something like this. That this is specifically something for the successor. Anya says broke free, which implies that in fact she was doing it. She was trying to give him some sort of comfort because of his 200 years of suffering, Indian tragedy. He gets upset. I don't need this. I don't need peace. That's not my end. This is supposed to be tragic. If it's tragic, it's tragic. If it's foolish, it's foolish. Let me have this as fate. I love that. It sucks because again, it seemed like he was happy with it. Oh, Yelena, oh Helen, everybody, they're all around me. Embrace happiness, my family right here. I'm finally there. But no, if it's fake, I don't want it. If it's fake, I don't want it. If it's tragic, let me have it. Don't create an illusion. I don't want that. This guy's old. He's an old man. He's wise. I don't need your smelling roses. I don't need you to sprinkle flowers around me. Again, if it's tragic, it's tragic. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't sugarcoat it. Interesting. But yeah, he says, I heard of past lords of Sarkis gave visions of comfort as favor to warriors. You are her successor. Successor to who? That's the question mark. Surely it's not Teresa. I'm wondering who he's talking about. Somebody in the past who was a leader. I don't think it's Tala. I think he was following Tala specifically because of the infected. I think it was specifically in regards to maybe Teresa, she could have been. But if that was the case, I don't see why he would have betrayed her. If she was this old lord of them, I don't know that he would have betrayed her. But he did say you are her successor. But I guess, I don't know, I would have to check again to see if it was gendered in some way, the way that he was talking. But interesting, but either way, interesting. But yeah, he gets super mad, talks about the fact that he's just like my daughter, just like Frost Nova. You're a child who believes in happy endings, whatever. Yeah, upsets Amiya in a way, the fact that age has nothing to do with it. We fought many wars and many battles. Throw it back in his face about the fact that he knew Tala's plans, yet he was still doing that stuff. But anyways, yeah, he questions her in being the successor, or succeeding as king, that if she has what she needs. And her answer to that is the fact that, no, I can't do it alone, but I have many people with me. I have people at my side. I think that's really, in the end, the trope here is, yes, that is the trope aspect of, I'm not a king of myself. I'm not staying alone. I'm not a Tala. I'm not an emperor. No, I'm of my people. The people around me are me. We are together, Rhodes Island. It's not just Amiya. It's that whole thing there. But yeah, this one, Patriot decides to do a prophecy. And again, it seems like everybody is commanded not to listen. There was somebody on the comms saying, don't listen to it. I think what they're implying here is that with this particular race, when they do this ritual, when they do a prophecy, it could be an aspect that it manipulates people. But what I would assume what they're sort of doing here is that they don't want people to listen to it because it manipulates them in some way, is the best way to put it. And the idea that, yes, he's saying countless cities devastated, Arignium blanketing the land, Black Crown melting millions of lives into nothing but memories. He sees the King of Sarkas enslaving all people everywhere. Again, this is a prophecy that we've already established before, at least that they're able to do this prophecy, and it works out the way that they played out. And this is something that he's seen. He even seemed to have the same prophecy that we had given to us before that Kal'tsit was given. This fact that Amiya would kill him. This is all playing this idea. This is something that will play out. And it might not be something that can be overcome. But even still, because he hates fate, and he hates that all of these end up happening, he wants to stop at this one time, and thus he goes after Amiya and tries to stop her. Now, yeah, I can totally see it. There might be something that happens in the future where Amiya slips up or something happens. She has to do something. It ends up being something for the better of other people, and that ends up being the prophecy fulfilled. That's what I assume ends up happening. And when we had it before with the whole thing with Misha. A case where Amiya has to do something she doesn't want to do that ends up costing lives. And I could see it happening there as well. That despite the fact that she didn't want to be this prophesized, Lord of Fiends, it still ends up happening. Or there's another person that is also a Lord of Fiends. Is there another person that has a part of Amiya? There's two Amiyas, basically. Is the other self inside of Tala Amiya? I mean, there's a lot of possibilities here. But yeah, he wants to put a stop to it because he hates fate, goes after her. But a little chamber with a number 13 on it starts glowing up and people panicking about it as he hears a voice in his head, which I think is Frost Nova. But here's the oddity, because the voice says we cannot kill her yet. If something goes wrong in the future, we can figure it out with her then. I think that was something that Frost Nova said in the first season. But it was odd that it was showing Tala, unless she was in that scene when she said that. But I think there was a mention at some point about not going after Amiya because we could use her in the future. So here he's recalling what she said, but also, again, it's showing that Chamber 13 that Frost Nova was put in, her body was put into, implying the idea that from beyond the death, she's communicating to him. I don't know if they're going the route of the idea that she's literally still alive in that chamber. That would be interesting if they return back to Rhodes Island and Frost Nova's alive. I don't think they're going to go that far, but it still kind of makes you wonder why specifically show the chamber and then react in the chamber. Why does she physically have to say something to him rather than him think about it? Either way, it stops him. It stops him, and again, sort of implies from what Kal'tsit says later on that he chose her. By stopping before her and not striking her, he was choosing her for the future. Pretty interesting stuff. Very, 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 very interesting stuff. Anyways, yeah, it wraps up with the guys saying, hey, we're gonna try to pick up where he left off, but they're like, no, we're following what Frost Nova wanted. We're carrying on what Frost Nova wanted. He carried on what he wanted. What's your will, basically? And they choose to basically go after Tala. Yeah, we're gonna do what he was gonna do. We're gonna take her on. Rip those guys. Rip those guys. You guys are gone. Before cutting over to a brief shot of Chin. Chin's trying to go after Tala, of course. We got a little brief shot of Swire. Swire got back in the show. I miss my Swire, dude. Swire, best girl. She's so freaking cute. She's all upset about the situation. She's like, what is the LGD gonna do now? Oh my gosh, what's gonna happen to I can't do this. She's like not wanting to take over. It's implied she does not want to take over from Chin. She's like, I got Chin back here. I want to do this. I can't do this. And then, yeah, Lin shows up. And, yeah, kind of implies the idea they're all kind of upset about not being able to stop her and that they all have this promise of seeing him again. See Mephisto for a little bit. He's just being gloomy. Ends up overtaking all the dudes that were going to take them off to kill him. I guess that whole idea of taking him somewhere away from the others was literally killing, like I was kind of assuming was going to be the case. I knew it was either going to be a separation to not affect morale or just to kill him, but... Anyway, that's pretty much the episode. Good stuff, good stuff. Hopefully, next episode we get more Swire. Get more Swire next episode? Probably not. But yeah, looking forward to more. Hope you guys enjoyed my video as always. If you did, hit the like button down below. If you like this content, you want to support the channel more, become a member of the channel. But until next time, y'all take care.